Hey, what's up, everybody? I won't lie, I'm just sort of messing around this whole live stream thing. It's like one of those things that you just always hear people constantly telling you to go live, and your podcast should be a video format also, other than just listening to. So, normally, as you know, if you've been listening to the podcast, know anything about me, I have a face for radio, if you will. Therefore, I don't really like to come on camera that much. Actually, believe it or not, I am an introvert, and that's just one of the cool things about being a podcaster is you can create your stuff. You can be locked away. It's pretty dope that you can talk about whatever it is that you want to talk about, and you don't really have to ever show your face. So that was one of the cool things that I liked about the whole NFT space, crypto Twitter, if you will. Some people say that it's a bunch of criminals trying to hide their faces, but no, for me, it was just kind of dope that I could create things and talk about amazing things that are being built without really showing my face. No one really cares who I am. I just go by my gamer tag, Tropic Vibes, right? So, anywho, I'm here and I'm just messing around with this live streaming thing. I've been obviously creating content for whatever. I don't even know how long it's been now. But as far as me coming on doing live streams, I did it for a little bit during the pandemic just because we had nothing better to do. And that was sort of my thing. But as far as what's going on here right now, me streaming on Twitter or any of these platforms, it is pretty new to me. And I want to thank Melina and Chris, of course, Girl in the Verse, and also Fly Ride. Those are their Twitter handles. They are always talking about going live and doing things. Brian Fanzo with push the end button and so forth. You know, so it's like one of those things that you're just always constantly hearing over and over and over. But today, you know, like I said, I'm just having a little fun, and I was going to go stream on Schiller. Those of you guys don't know, that's like the new NFT platform app. Creators are on it right now, and it's starting to wind up, but there's a little bit of glitches today. But however, I think it's going to be a promising thing for people that create within Web3. But anywho, I'm here just messing with this live streaming. And the funny thing is, the reason why I even thought of this whole thing is this tweet right here, which is I'm going to just put it on the screen. Hopefully I don't mess up with the tech. Again, this is sort of like a test run. I don't even know if the audio is coming through clean. Hopefully it is. And this tweet right here with Elon saying that the rates will be limited and they're going to be increased from the 6,000 that he tweeted about earlier to now 8,000 for verified users and for 400 for unverified. Now, I think this is really weird in the sense that Twitter has always been a free platform. Most of these social media apps are supported by advertisers. So thinking that they would limit the amount of usage to me is a little strange, but whatever. It is what it is. When you have $80 billion or $40 billion, whatever it is, to buy an app, you can do whatever you want, right? I mean, Twitter was unprofitable before, so people that are saying that Elon's killing Twitter, I think that's kind of funny, because how can you kill something that was never really ever profitable before? There's really nowhere to go but up. So I just find that very interesting. It is his house, I should say. He can do whatever he wants to do. But, you know, let's just see what's on the feed right now. There's some wild stuff that's been happening. I don't know about you guys, but my feed is always filled with like these fight videos and such. And really, I'm here for, you know, Web3 and NFT. Hey, what's up, Erica? I see you're doing some cool stuff. Those of you that don't know, Erica is one of the fellow Chibis, and she also is very big into gaming and what have you. Has spaces, so check her out. But speaking of chibis again, as you can see, my feed are NFT people. These are all people within Chibi Nation and so forth. And then every now and then I'll have something pop up like this. Why do these even exist? Breadbacks? Well, maybe it's a Jamaican thing, but I happen to really like breadbacks. So, hey, why do they exist? Because they're the end of the bed when they're being baked. So, you know, just some interesting things are happening over here on Twitter. And again, I'm just messing around. I'm just creating this right here, testing out the whole streaming capabilities. And since people are going to be limited, hey, well, might as well make a show about what's on the Twitter feed in case your feed gets shut off. Actions speak louder than words. That is true. Gary, he was on the podcast a few episodes ago. So if you are not familiar with the show, the NFT Business Show, Gary Henderson was on there speaking about giraffe towers and all the cool things he's doing, social connector, some just really great apps, or a great app that engages content creation and building a business as a creator within Web3. Just really cool things that are happening there. Had him on the show. It was really great conversation. And one of the cool things I love about having a podcast, being in Web3, is you get to meet people that have a wide range of talents. Business opportunities are out there for everyone. And speaking with people that are actually building great things such as Gary, it's like just really cool to be able to connect with people like that, because for the most part, you know, I wouldn't even be in contact with any of these people. 50 is another person. He was on the podcast as well, founder of Apocalyptic Apes. Just it was really cool talking to him too as well. Of course, one of the OG Bored Apes has a whole bunch of apes, and well, I don't know how much apes he has now. But yeah, he has more than one. I can tell you that. And even he right here is commenting about the whole thing right here. If you see this, you have just wasted a view. Exactly. That was one of the things that I was saying is, well, how are these really going to be counted? And I think it's kind of funny in the sense that just being sarcastic, of course, I tweeted out, does this count as one or two? Because I posted I tweeted a post about a post. So, and that was a horse scratching its back on a post, like a physical post. So I'm like, is that one post or is that two? Because my tweet was about a post, a horse scratching its back on the post. So, yeah, it's kind of wild. And I had asked or tweeted out, I'm speaking as if like Elon and I are on like a first name basis and we're tweeting back and forth to each other. But I had tweeted out just a question saying, are these fight videos that are on my feed going to count? Because I wouldn't mind if you replaced all of them with SpaceX videos. And the funny thing is, now that I'm live scrolling this feed, I don't see a single fight video. I'm seeing the stuff that I actually came here for to begin with, which is I love chibis. I love NFTs. I love some really cool stuff. Of course, here we go. When you're scrolling through Twitter, hey, this is someone who has another video of him scrolling through, or he or she scrolling through Twitter. So that's pretty funny. That's like a thing now. So here we go. Here is death to Twitter and all these things. This is a little weird. So we have Twitter on a tombstone, but Twitter is throwing up the peace sign. I don't know what's going on there. A meme is a meme. That's pretty awesome. I would think Elon would be the one throwing up the peace sign, and then Twitter would be the tombstone, meaning that Twitter is buried. So I don't exactly understand this meme in the sense that Twitter is throwing up the peace sign for Twitter. So that's a little weird. That's like a zombie type of post, right? I don't know. So anywho, what do you know? This is like the thing of the day today. People are doing tweet feeds. So it looks like I'm not the only one with this idea. Maybe this is like a cool thing. Here we go. Washington Post is speaking about this Elon thing. All right. Enough about Twitter. Let me go to actually the cool thing that you can do with Twitter. A lot of people don't even know this or take advantage of it. Is that you can go and you can check out to see, you can make feeds, or excuse me, you can make lists. So as you can see right here, I have different ones. I have the Chibi Gang, Dream 100, like just really interesting people that either were on the show, I'd like to have on the show, or just doing some great things in the space. I'd like to see what they're up to. But also I have one called NFT platforms that I just keep pinned up here because it just shows me some great things that are happening within the space. People will have you know, great projects and great things, and I just like to have it organized so that way if the feed does get dominated by those fight videos, I can just hop over here, see what's happening within NFT space. So right here you can see this is Vivi. Vivi is an interesting platform. I spoke about it. It's been a while since I spoke about it on the show. However, they had some really cool partnerships, if you will, with like Disney and Spider-Man and a whole bunch of other, I guess Disney and Marvel, Spider-Man would all be the same company, but a lot of IP, if you will, some just really iconic things. And they were creating these digital collectibles that you could put into AR, augmented reality. You could pull it up there. You could have Spider-Man dancing around the room and stuff. So it was really cool. But then, of course, all sorts of things started to happen as far as what's going on with that platform. Is it on the blockchain? Are these really NFTs? What's going on? Who really knows? But I thought it was just a cool thing that they were getting all these licensing deals with various IPs such as Batman and Superman, which is kind of interesting. I didn't really see that coming when that happened because Batman and Superman are DC Comics, those of you that are, you know, comic nerds, what have you. And Spider-Man, X-Men and all those, Mickey Mouse and all those partnerships were under the Disney house. Of course, Spider-Man and them, those were acquired once they brought in or they purchased Marvel. So Star Wars, which is Lucasfilms, Marvel, all of that stuff is under the Disney umbrella. And then you have DC Comics, which is really associated with Warner Brothers. And somehow Vivi ended up getting a partnership with both of them and having those both on there. So this is kind of cool. Right here, you can see this is what is this, a stamp originally issued in 1938, the USPS stamp. Oh, so collectible. So yeah, those are like the original collectibles, if you will. People are always collecting things. Seashells. People are collecting stamps and you name it, rocks. So yeah, collecting is nothing new. So when people are laughing and saying, "Oh, digital collectibles and all this stuff," it's just the evolution of collecting anything. And I personally think that it doesn't matter what you're collecting. Eventually, all that stuff, the authenticity certificate and stuff is all going to be on the blockchain in the form of NFT anyways. There is nothing wrong with physical collectibles. I collect all sorts of stuff. And just the other day I was speaking to Bailey, who I did a basically like an intro 101 space with, and asking questions about Web3. And I say, look, I still buy physical art. I'm here in Jamaica. I go to the craft market and I buy art. So art is still going to be sold. Physical collectibles are still going to be sold. Just like right here, next thing on the feed is Illuvium. This feed right here is this game. Now, I'm not the biggest gamer, even though the whole Tropic Vibes things is my gamer tag, and that was when I was really playing my Xbox and such. And however, this right here, Illuvium, is a Web3 game, which if you check this out, this thing is really, really interesting. Let me see if I can pull this up bigger.
This is incredibly helpful when you're trying to shoot an encounter, which is a moving target.
All right.
When you're in midair, you can slow down time when you're aiming and shooting. Check this out. Aim, hold down left click, shoot. Pretty cool, right? Let's try that one more time. You can be in midair any way you want. You can be jumping.
Okay, so I don't know if that sound was coming through. I'll have to play that back, and hopefully it is. But I'm checking that out right now, and I think it is pretty cool. You know, that is really awesome what they're building. The graphics on this thing is just out of this world, and this is really the future of gaming in the sense that, you know, what we've seen as Web3 gaming, the whole play to earn craze that happened last year, we thought that was going to be the future. Those games just, they sucked. They weren't fun. And a game has to be fun, or else why play it, right? If you're just playing it to quote unquote earn, then it's no different than a job, right? So whether you're flipping burgers or you're clicking to get some sort of currency that can be converted out eventually to pay your bills, I mean, it's no different. So these games are actually using blockchain technology. The graphics, everything on it is absolutely amazing. People were actually saying that this is probably not the actual gameplay because the graphics were so amazing for a rookie game maker. But as you can see, that is live play, and I know a lot of people that have played it, and they said it's absolutely ridiculous. Earlier, I was speaking about Erica, who is a chibi, and she has her spaces that she holds about gaming and such, and I know she's one that has actually got her hands on that. But here we go again. Here we have Vivi on the feed speaking about what is this? Captain America. So these are our Marvel things, of course, X-Men, all this stuff. So Vivi is doing some interesting things. The platform is not dead. Here, of course, we have OpenSea. I remember when OpenSea was like the king of the space. They literally would have these spaces that would draw thousands of people. It was like the event of the day, going to an OpenSea space. I forget the name of the community leader. I forget what her name is. But anywho, she had all these videos, TikTok videos, and all sorts of stuff. But then, of course, you know, that like the saying, speaking of superheroes, right? There's a saying that it's either you die a hero or you live long enough to become a villain. And unfortunately, that sort of happened with the NFT community and OpenSea turning against them. Of course, with the whole royalty issues, when they had the limit for the collections for the artists, and they all got mad at them and so forth. But whatever, it is growing pains. It is a company. They're trying to make money. They're a business. I still actually have faith in OpenSea. I know that's not a popular thing from Web3 people, but whatever. I'm a business guy, right? I like marketing. I like what they're trying to do, something sustainable. And at the end of the day, not everyone is gung-ho, fully decentralized, all about cryptocurrencies. And the majority of people are going to appreciate platforms such as OpenSea. So I think it's actually really cool that they were still around, and I support what they're doing, whatever. And no sponsorships whatsoever. As you know from the show, any content that I do put out, these are just my opinions. I speak about this stuff, and if I want to knock something, it is legitimately my opinion, and no one's paying me to say anything of that nature, because guess what? I don't give financial advice or anything of that. So this is cool. I don't know what this is, but this is cool. I got to look at this for a second. Super rare. All right. This is a Ford Mustang. I know that much, but I guess it's being shaped at, I won't lie. This is pretty dope because a little thing about me, I actually really like Ford Mustangs, and one of my when I finally made it type of things is, all right, I guess you would say, I grew up with him, like my kid brother, and he was always into cars and such, and kind of tough to talk about. Long story short, He's no longer with us, but his big thing was a Shelby Mustang, and his screen names, everything was all about that. And because I don't really talk about it much on my page because this is my NFT profile and such, but I am someone who's like really big on mental health and meditation, mindfulness, stuff like that. And I always said I'm going to start some sort of charity, some sort of thing. When I make it, everyone has their bucket list things, and it's going to be centered around Mustangs in memory of him. And long story short, that's kind of cool that this Mustang popped up on this, and I really like Mustangs. And here we go again, some cars. So this is like merging everything together. I'm scrolling down the feed, these things are popping up. I'm speaking about cars, I'm speaking about Marvel superheroes and such, and here we go. We have something with both. Right. So this is sort of thing that I actually like when I'm scrolling around through the feed. And these are the things that I'm looking on. So some people that say like Twitter is broken and like they don't like what's going on here. Well, maybe you're just using it wrong. Right. So, of course, I sorted this out to NFT platforms and people tweeting about them. So this one's going to be specific to that. But as you can see, when I filter it out like this, I like what's going on here. So some stuff about super rare, and of course all these art platforms. Again, these are basically Web 2 companies that are helping people to bridge the gap between Web 3. And some people knock that, but you know what I mean? I think it's kind of dope. I won't lie. I have no problem with it. So as far as this goes, so yeah, I'm just scrolling through the feed, as you can see. Hopefully I'm nowhere near my quota of my 6,000, my 8,000, whatever it is. I wonder if I should go for the max to see if I get cut off. What happens when I hit my 8,000, right? Do I get shut off? Well, then again, it said when you hit 6,000 originally, he's going to increase it to 8,000. So I don't even think we've officially hit that rule, but who knows? So I don't know if I'm going to stay on here that long because I'm just going to get tired of talking. And I don't even know if anyone's even watching or listening to me. But as I'm scrolling, who knows? Maybe I'll get cut off. I'll hit my limit, right? And I didn't. I don't know if you have to pay a premium. But as far as that goes, right? Here's my thing. So if Twitter is supposed to be a subscription-based platform, we know that it wasn't profitable doing that. So, or not a subscription, ad-supported platform. Unfortunately, it wasn't successful doing that. Never really turned a profit. And of course, with Elon's freedom of speech stance and stuff, rubbed advertisers the wrong way, and they jumped off ship, tried to make a political statement. However, I truly believe if it was a profitable platform as far as them running their ads, just like they were doing with Facebook, because everyone has issues with Facebook, yet they're still running ads over there. Why? Because it works. Now, with the whole iOS update, so we'll see how that goes. But I think people are going to get really bold now and say, you know what, we're going to make a stance against Mark Zuckerberg and his stance on privacy, only because the ads aren't as profitable as they used to be. But as long as it is printing cash, like that's the number one rule in marketing. It doesn't matter what it is. Like if it's working and it's profitable, it's giving you an ROI, just keep pouring money onto it until it stops working. It doesn't matter if we're paying $1 million per click. If that $1 million that you're paying for per click is getting you $1,001 in revenue, a marketer is going to say, all right, cool, pay that $1 million. So, all those people that are making their stance, getting on their political high horses, saying, yeah, I'm jumping ship from this because of this. I guarantee you, if those companies were running profitable ads on whatever platform it is, I don't care if it's Facebook, TikTok, you name it, like they'd be there. And you don't believe me? If you're a sports fan, you see what happened over on with the PGA Tour merging with Live Golf. I mean, hey, they were all, up in arms about this, and they were so vocal about it. But once the dollars aligned, guess what? Like, they merged. So that is how people are, and it's really interesting. But anyways, going back to this whole NFT feed, the Bored Apes. But by the way, the Bored Apes, stuff that's going on within that. I saw earlier Gary had tweeted the floor price for the mutants. Now, it's kind of interesting. I responded to that one, and the mutants, the price is going down crazy. I think, I'm not fudding anything that Yuga Labs or anything is doing. The price was astronomical for all of them, no lie. However, I mean, I have way more faith in the OG apes, not because they just have a limited supply, they're 10,000 as opposed to the double supply of the mutants, but they just look better in my opinion. I never liked looking at the mutants, just not my cup of tea. I know everyone has like different tastes and so forth, but Someone in the Pudgy community gave or said this term, which kind of stuck with me. It's like return on cuteness. I want to say it was Danielle, but I'm not certain it was her. But whoever it was came up with this term, return on cuteness, and like, you know, stuff that is cute and having a return on it. And the mutants were just not pleasable to me. Like, I just didn't like looking at them. Right from day one, when I saw the mutants, I was like, eh. I like looking at the OGs though. I think they look cool. And even this thing right here, like, right, like you put them together and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Return on cuteness, this little unicorn and such like that. But yeah, it's one of the things that why I'm so bullish on chibis, even though like floor price is like ridiculous, but I think they're cute. They're family friendly. That is how they were able to strike up deals with Arizona Iced Tea and Verizon and so forth. Like, right, that's not reflective of a very low floor price. However, it's cute, it's clean, it's family friendly. And, you know, though weed and certain things are being legalized in different places, right? It's still a polarizing thing. So does a big multinational corporation such as Verizon really want to align themselves with an NFT project that is all about 420 and 69 and all that? Probably not, right? So a cute, family-friendly thing like the Doodles, the Pudgy Penguins, you name it. The Chibis, of course, I was just speaking about them. All of those types of projects, people might knock them and say, yeah, they're trying to like ruin this and try to become businesses. But like, what do you expect them to do, right? You know what I mean? It's like the problem that we're having. And earlier I was looking at a whole bunch of feeds and people were arguing back and forth. Are NFTs dead? Will the bull market return? I am probably as bullish on NFTs as anyone I know. I literally changed my career to go pursue NFTs, creating content, building businesses, and finding partners and doing amazing things. However, as far as the NFT bull market that we saw between 2020 and I would say January of 2021, no, I don't think that will ever return again. Gasp! People are going to say, like, why? Because, right, it was no different than the 90s. This is something I speak about all the time on the podcast. If you hear the podcast and you hear me rant about this stuff all the time, well, this is nothing new to you, but you might be the first time you're hearing me say this. But during that time, we thought NFTs were the product, right? The NFT is just a technology. Just like in the 90s when everyone thought if the business had a .com on its name, like, great, it's an online business, therefore it's worth millions of dollars. Well, no, that's not true. That is, just because it has a .com doesn't mean that it is a sustainable business. Same thing with the NFT. Just because it is an NFT, just new technology, and it doesn't mean that it is a business. It doesn't mean that it's sustainable, going to be of value, and so forth. So some people say to me, like, yeah, I buy some NFTs that I think will never appreciate in value. So they'll say, well, why are you buying it? It's like, because I like it, right? You know, it's like, those of you that were old enough to buy music, such as myself, right? Any of you born in the 80s, grew up in the 90s, buying CDs and what have you, right? No one bought CDs thinking that I'm going to flip this, I'm going to resell it. Like, no. Even when burners and stuff came out, like, no one was just buying CDs to make money. Like, well, I shouldn't say no one. I should say very few people were buying CDs just to make money, because I was one of those guys that was burning off CDs, and especially when LimeWire came on and so forth. Yeah, but LimeWire is back in Web3. That's another story in itself. But going back to the whole thing, right? So it's just the technology, right? We bought CDs, MP3s, or whatever it was when the iPod came out, because we were buying the music. Like, the format was the format. So when people are saying a bull market for NFTs, to me that would be like saying, do you think there'll ever be a bull market again for CDs, or a bull market for MP3s, or whatever it might be? Like, dude, it's music, right? We were buying it because of the music. Like, we were rocking and vibing out with DMX, Snoop, and all those guys. We're, going to the basketball court with boombox and speakers and all that stuff. And guess what? Now, fast forward, Snoop just brought back Death Row Records in Web3, and the whole thing is going to be an NFT label, right? Doesn't matter if it was on a tape, like a literal mixtape, a CD, which we also called mixtapes, but they weren't tapes, MP3s, which were a collection of playlist of digital files of music, or they're going to be NFTs like what he's releasing now. Like, doesn't matter. The music is the music. That's why we rock with it. That's why we mess with Snoop. That's why we roll with him and whoever else you're a fan of. Let's bring in some NFT artists. We're talking about Sammy Arriaga, Violetta. We're talking about you name it. Side note, you know what I think would be really dope, and I'm gonna get on this whole Twitter thing and try to line this up. There is this dude that I'm a big fan of. I know him from YouTube. His name is Marty Ray Project, right? And he calls his fans the projectors and such. I don't know if he's in Web3, and like he has this cool vibe, like a cool sound. It's like kind of country, but it's also bluesy, and it's just a really dope sound. How did I get on this topic? Oh, because I said Sammy Arriaga. Yeah, this is why I don't do video. My brain goes all over the place, and if I don't have a bullet point or whatever it is to kind of keep me on track, I don't necessarily. My brain goes all over the place. So when I'm doing the podcast, I just have some bullet points on the screen before me, and then I can riff and I can talk all over the place. And some people also talk and say, it's like, boy, you talk really fast on your podcast. And I know it's when I get excited about stuff, my mouth just sort of goes, and my brain goes fast. My mouth goes faster at times. And the funny thing is, like I said, I really am an introvert. However, introvert doesn't mean quiet. Introvert doesn't mean someone who doesn't speak, especially when there's something of interest to me. And if you talk to my sister, anyone that says he's shy, he doesn't talk and so forth, she just says, you don't know him. He does not shut up. And that's the facts, because my least favorite topic to speak about is myself. But if you find a topic that I'm interested in, I don't care if it's NFTs, if it is SpaceX, if it is, I saw someone earlier, Lovable Curves, who is a faithful 90s babe holder. She posted something about she's going to write a Medium thread about her genetic theory. And I'll read that because that's just dope to me. I would love to hear what she has to say about that. So genetics, is that my field? No. But I would talk to somebody about genetics. Matter of fact, I had the CEO from Genetic Cats, or Genomes DAO, on one of these episodes of the NFT Business Show. Really cool conversation I had with him, speaking about how they're using blockchain technology and NFTs and all that stuff to work with DNA sequencing. You can have your DNA sequenced, and you can have grant access to various companies and studies that are doing different things. So let's just say Coca-Cola wants to do a taste test study. I'm just using that as an example, just throwing that out there, and wants to know what sort of taste resonate most with millennial males. Just using that example. Well, you can opt into that and basically sell your information for that specific section of your genome, and how you're controlling that and giving out the permissions and such is through NFTs. It's really dope. I forget what episode that is, but if you just go to the NFT Business Show and just search Genomes DAO or Genetic Cats, Aldo DePap was his name. Any of those things, it should pop up. So yeah, obviously I didn't plan to go there. I just riffed it off, and I'm all over the place. How did I get here? Okay, yeah. So Marty Ray Project, country blues singer that I found on YouTube, would be an awesome collab with Sammy Arriaga. So I'm gonna start tweeting about that. Actually, try to line that up. So those of you that are listening and watching, if you're out there, and again, I just really hope the audio is coming through clearly. Let's get that together. Go check out Marty Ray Project on YouTube. Listen to his music. I mean, he's dope, right? And the reason why I think it would be a cool collab with Sammy is Sammy doesn't really fit the mold, right? He is a Cuban country singer from Miami living in Nashville, and his sound doesn't fit Nashville. It doesn't fit Latin music. Like, he speaks Spanish and sings in Spanish, and it's like he's his own genre. And honestly, that's how Marty Ray Project is, right? It's not blues, it's not country, and there's some hip hop vibes, there's some gospel vibes in there as well. And I think it would just be just a sick collab. I mean, both of these guys can sing, they have their own style, and it's just, I think it would be just an amazing project. And I don't think he's in Web3. So that would be even more sick to see Marty Ray Project come into Web3, collab with Sammy Arriaga. And yeah, I'm gonna really start tweeting about that. But yeah, going back to this whole Twitter feed. So yeah, that's how my mind works when I'm looking through all this stuff. as you can see, and this is literally how I do my research for the podcast, right? I just follow all those go down all those rabbit holes, follow all of those things, and I'm just literally all over the place. And I just happen to write down all of these notes. So if you look at my desk, it is an absolute war zone. I like to call it my genius at work desk. And my wife is always like trying to like throw away these papers and such, because I have notebooks, I have papers, I have pieces of cardboard. When I was actually at my day job family business, which was selling food, believe it or not. And I would always come back with like all these receipts and invoices and stuff stuffed in my pocket that was scribbled down with NFT notes, because I was listening to podcasts. There was an idea that I wanted to pursue, and it was absolute chaos. Then I would put them over here on my desk. I would get things all over the place. And I would chase all these rabbits in the middle of the night and somehow get together and put out podcasts speaking about this stuff, meeting people. But anywho, going back to this now, here we go on the feed. We have Animoca Brands speaking about this stuff. Now, Animoca Brands is doing some pretty cool stuff. And one of my latest episodes, I think I was speaking about the Quid app. Animoca Brands, if I'm not mistaken, acquired them for $100 million or something like that. But they're doing some really cool stuff over there, like Web3 games. They had something with one of those zombie shows. I was never a big zombie person. I have a weak stomach, you know what I mean? So I forget what it was. Was it The Walking Dead or something of that nature? They had that, and they were doing some really cool stuff there with some games that really, in my opinion, has some legs. And I think they're going to do some really, really cool stuff. And yeah, so as I'm scrolling through here. Now, here's the thing. As I'm looking at this and I'm seeing some, oops, sorry. Oh, crap. What did I just click? There we go. And as I see this, right, some of these companies and some of the stuff that's going on here, I heard a very interesting interview the other day. And I believe it was with, I forget who was on. I'm sorry, but Riles, who is one of the people that's responsible for me coming into the whole NFT space, is the co-host, if you will, of the Nifty Show. No association with Nifty Business, my thing, but it's sort my naming of the brand is sort of an ode and a nod to the Nifty Show, which I believe was the first ever NFT podcast. There's some people that would probably claim they were before, but as far as I know, like definitely they were the first ones I've ever heard about them doing a specific podcast about NFTs. Well, anyways, Riles interviewed this guy and they asked a question about the Web3 gaming scene, right? And there's a lot of skepticism within the gamers in the West saying that, you know, it's all a gimmick. Why are they even speaking about Web3 gaming and NFTs? There's no place in that. Just build great games. However, over in the East, the Asian markets, like they're way ahead, usually, you know, 5 to 10 years ahead of what's going on in the West. And they have embraced blockchain gaming and Web3 elements and having skins and weapons and all these upgrades that are in the form of NFTs. So it's just a matter of time before it trickles out to the rest of the industry, and all the skepticism that we're seeing will go away. It just makes sense. If you know anything about gaming, you know anything about the technology. If you were ever someone who played games like RuneScape back in the day, man, I put in hours and hours and hours in RuneScape, and long story short, I didn't play it for a few years because I went to college, I got a life, I started businesses and whatever. And it wasn't until, I don't even remember what year it was, but something reminded me of RuneScape, and I logged in and it said your account has been closed because you were spamming like 3 weeks ago. I was like, 3 weeks ago? I haven't logged into this thing in years. How could that even be possible? All those hundreds of hours that I spent mining and building armor and stuff, because I never went on quest. I never fought dragons, but I was just basically like a metaverse businessman, if you will. I would go, I would mine, and I would get all this stuff. I would smelt, and I just had a stockpile of gold that is all gone now because I was locked out of my account. That could have never happened if all that stuff was in the form of NFTs. If my character, with all his experience points and the gold and everything, was on the blockchain, like they can't lock me out. So, again, going down that rabbit hole. Yeah, so the Asian markets with the games that they're playing and such is embracing blockchain technology, and it's just a matter of time before it comes here on the West. So, yeah, that was a long rant to say this. Immutable is doing some really cool stuff in gaming as well. We like to think that like NFTs are just um, Ethereum, Solana, maybe now with the whole ordinals things on Bitcoin. Of course, those of us OGs from the Wax community, we know that NFTs are just a huge thing. Wax blockchain was built for that. But, anywho, we like to have a very closed minded picture of it. And even though Wax, the last time I checked, had more transactions than all other blockchains combined as far as trading and buying and doing all these gamings and such on chain. However, it is often overlooked and forgotten. Nobody talks about it. And even in a lot of those data sources, they exclude it. Again, I think one of the very early episodes of the podcast, I was speaking to the head of product of Wax Blockchain, and that was really cool. Some things that were happening over there, how they were speaking about it. And guess what? Same thing happens still till this day. Most databases exclude Wax because there's just so much data, so much transactions that they just act like it doesn't even exist. And a lot of the times on the Twitter feed, it's the same way. People don't even mention Wax, what's going on, unless I go to like a Wax Wednesday space and all that stuff and check out some of the cool creators. Speaking of earlier, I was speaking about music NFTs and stuff with Sammy and Violetta and all those people. Well, there was a huge project, which is great. One of the first music projects I ever saw, Yoshi Drops. Yoshi is also on Twitter, Wax community. Just really great stuff. There were some artists that were literally, their lives were changed because they were selling $1 and $2 NFTs on the Wax blockchain in whatever country they were, putting out music that they were making, let's say, $200, $300, $400 in a month, which is a fortune in their country. And if they had to rely on Spotify streams and what have you, they would have made like 20 cents, right? But they, as independent artists in South America was really big in a lot of Spanish-speaking countries and such. They were putting out their tracks and their NFTs on the Yoshi Drops using the Wax blockchain, and they were making a living. So some great stuff is happening all over the space. How did I get on that? Oh, yes, Immutable. Immutable is doing some really cool stuff as far as within gaming. And I think it's one of those things that like a lot of these PFP people, generative projects, and even meme coin flippers and everything don't speak about Immutable, but gamers, that's a place to take a look at. And by no means am I a gaming expert or a hardcore gamer. Especially since I sold my consoles. I was a console gamer. That's how you know I'm not a massive gamer, in the sense that I wasn't a PC gamer. My favorite PC games were things like Age of Empires, The Sims, Total War. Total War franchise, which was originally a Sega thing, I think it was, and it was it was put together by Creative Assembly, and Sega ended up buying it. And that was by far my favorite PC game. So you can tell I'm not a serious gamer, because I'm not talking about some World of Warcraft, or was it World of Warcraft? Yeah, or one of those type of games. I've actually never even played Fortnite, believe it or not. I've been in the room while people are playing it, but I've never played it. So these worlds, nothing new, nothing. I mean, it's been out, but as far as other chains, other things that's going on, because I'm not a maxi of anything. Build where it makes sense to build, and to be honest, most amazing things just does not make sense to put it on ETH. Earlier, I was speaking about Gary. Gary has his whole ecosystem built out on Solana. As far as after the rally ecosystem crashed and burned, that side chain, he ported his whole community over onto Solana. The Gary coin lives on Solana. The social connector runs on Solana. There's custodial wallets that were all set up on there. So even if someone has no clue what an NFT is, doesn't have any inclination, doesn't want anything to do cryptocurrencies or whatever, but they understand the fact that, I rock with Gary, I rock with Tropic Vibes, I rock with whoever it is, and I want to be in their ecosystem. I want to support them, whatever, get rewarded for engaging with them on social media and listening to their content, showing up for their live feeds and so forth. Well, he built out that whole platform on Solana. If you're supposed to put that on ETH, it would just not be practical, because as far as how much SOL I have loaded up into that, it is 0.1 SOL. And all those transactions and stuff that I've been doing on there, and I'm not a power user of it, but point one Sol, and it's running off of that, paying the gas fees for everything to go through. That can never happen on Solana. I mean, that can on Ethereum. So there's people that are going to like knock Solana, and we know the history of it going up to 200 and then crashing down with the FTX thing, whatever. Like this whole space has been going through some things and whatever growing pains. But if you speak to people over on the Solana ecosystem, like they're doing some great stuff and some really, really cool stuff. I have an upcoming episode speaking about the Polygon community. There's another place too. People sleep on Polygon, but their community is really doing some amazing things. Their spaces are great. I've been going on to those on Polygon spaces. On Polygon is if you just look through the pages that I'm following, whatever it is, or just search for it on Polygon. You can see the spaces that they're hosting, and their community is vibrant. They're doing some really cool stuff. Oh man, look at that! It's like Nemo. For a clownfish, he's not very funny. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. So right now, as I said, I'm just scrolling through this feed. Anything that really jumps out at my mind or jumps out at my eye that my mind can just go chase after, that's just what I'm checking out now. I wonder how close I am to that limit. I don't know. So let's see what's going on here. I see some notifications coming in. Let me see. I'm going to check it on my phone because Lord knows what that is. Maybe someone's just trying to cause some trouble, wants to tag me into something and see if they can get me to post it up here on the live feed. But that's not happening. So let's see here. Let me check to see. Funny enough, well, that's a good one. This is actually Lovable Curve. She's saying she just liked the fact that I said do it. So yeah, she had posted something about genetics. She has a theory, and should she write a Medium? Should she start a Medium blog? And absolutely. So those of you that are not familiar with Medium, Medium is a cool place. It is like the YouTube of blogs. You can throw out whatever you want. So usually the way Google and a lot of search engines and things, when you're doing a specific topic, it rewards you for that. So if you have your own website, your own blog, and you want to blog about 50 million different things, well, it's not going to show up because Google's going to say, all right, this is not an authority in a particular area. This person is just all over the place and just posting random things, and we don't need to promote any more Wikipedia type sites. And this is a discussion that was actually on Marketing School. So I'm throwing out a whole bunch of things. Eric Sue and Neil Patel, they have a really great podcast called Marketing School. And this is something that they summarized much more eloquently than I do. But it's true. It's something that has been fact for years. So if you've never heard of that, by the way, Eric Sue is a Web3 person as well. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So she said, should she start a Medium blog? Throw that theory up there. Sure, why not? Because Medium allows you to blog about anything. Because Medium is a platform that allows people to just blog about anything. And I think there is a Web3 version of Medium. I think it's like mirror.xyz, if I'm not mistaken. So similar thing. You could throw out whatever ideas that you have, and you're not limited to just one specific area. So me being the nifty guy, nifty business, everything I do, talk about Web3, NFTs and such. If I started, putting out content about mental health, it just would not do as well for my particular search because these things are going to show up with me as the Web3 guy. And point being, if you want to speak about random things, Medium is a great place to do that. So yeah, here we go again with alluviums. Now these are like the little animals that they have in there, and I think those are called alluvials. So alluvium is the game, and I think these animals were called alluvials, and they're sort of like Pokemon-esque, if you will. Platinum Moments Pixar series Disney 100. So I guess that's what was showing up earlier with the whole Nemo, and I said, for a clownfish, he's not that funny. So here we go again. So VV, again, with their partnerships with Disney and such, here we go. They have Woody, and yeah, I'm a big fan of Disney. I won't lie. I know they have their issues, they have their problems, and racially, socially, so forth and whatnot. But you know what? They tell great stories, and it is what it is. I know how to eat the chicken and spit out the bones, if you know what I'm saying. That's another thing too. You know, I feel like people are just so sensitive these days. So it's like they're willing to like burn down everything and cancel everything for, you know, if anyone went through your tweets or your anything from, you know, the time when you were 17 or whatever, like you'd get canceled too. So you know what I mean? Like I say, give people some grace. And yeah, Disney has done some like horrible things historically, whatever. But they're also telling great stories. Pick out what you want. And they're doing some crazy stuff now. I won't even lie. Like when I say crazy, I mean crazy. Like they're just out there. But it is what it is. They have some great characters. They know how to tell stories, and I appreciate them for that. So, Anna Mocha Brand. So yeah, here I am. I'm just going through this again. Did you see this? Like, all right. So Sandy Carter from Unstoppable Domains. She's been tweeting about these NFTs domains 0 through 9. They had an auction, and let's see if this pulls up nicely. There we go. So each of these you can see. So just like how you have your, you know, tropicvibes.eth, I also have tropicvibes.nft, and that's just another format, if you will. Unstoppable Domains is a lot different than the ENS domains in the sense that they are doing like a digital identity type of thing. So it's just really cool. So if you are not familiar with Unstoppable Domains, I would check them out. And you buy them once and you own them. They're on Polygon. They're not on the mainnet Ethereum. You can connect all your wallet to them. But anyways, they have an auction going. I thought it would have ended by now, to be honest. What does it say? Just a few short hours left in this. So, okay, the auction is still going. The 29th. Nope, this is from the 29th. So I think they ended by now. Right, so they had 0.nft, 1.nft, all the way up to 9.nft. And as you can see here, these offers, these bids were ranging from 0 was 1.158 ETH. And this goes all the way up to the highest bid, I should say, was 3. Wow, 3 was at 3.19. That's a little strange to me. Why would 3 be higher than 1? You have 1, right? Okay, 1 is 3.24. I should see what this ended at. I'm not sure where it ended, but anywho, Web3 domains that you can own, and yeah, they had an auction for that, so that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. So yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I am sort of tired of hearing my own self right now. So I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this because, of course, seeing that this is streaming to Twitter and what have you, I actually can't even interact with anyone. It's not like I can bring someone up or whatever it is. So it's literally me just speaking into the camera and getting my, I don't know, my streaming practice, if you will, in. And I'm tired of talking. I'm tired of hearing myself. And I'm going to click this right now. It says I am live. So I just want to hear if it's coming through. Whatever it is. So ooh. It's literally me just speaking. It sure is. It is coming through crispy clear. That almost fired me up to keep going. But I won't lie. That was dope. Let me check something out. Since I am here, how awesome would that be? Let me see if the voice changer actually works because I have never done this. Feeding this
in. So this is your conscience speaking. I'm testing this out, and your conscience, I said, not just any conscience, but your conscience. Listen to the NFT Business Show wherever you listen to podcasts. It's absolutely free, or you can check it out at niftybusiness.co/listen. niftybusiness.co/listen. This is your conscience speaking. listen to the NFT Business Show.
So yeah, so messing around with that, and this can get fun. I won't lie. Okay, so right now I am at 49 minutes. I did not plan to go this long. It looks like I've gotten bit by the bug. So the funny thing is, all right, let me tell you a story. While I'm at it, on this topic, we're speaking about NFTs and such, and this whole live feed, live stream. So about 3 weeks ago, Chris and Melina were on a live stream. They're doing their thing on Twitter, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I'm tuning in. I like what Chris puts out. He does great content. He did it for Apocalyptic Apes. He did it for the Bulls and Apes project, and even before that, he had a massive YouTube channel with customizing cars and such. And that's why his Twitter handle is Fly Rides, because Fly Rides, these were dope cars, or Fly Rides that were featured on his YouTube channel. So grew that out, did some great content, and the YouTube channel is still up there. Came into Web3, started creating some content, and did this whole live streaming thing. And I was up there with Girl in the Verse, Melina, and they invited people to just hop on the stream with them. And I didn't want to hop on the stream, but I just been hearing it so much, saying, show your face, go live, and whatever. And I know that to be true from my Facebook days. Early person to come on to Facebook. I was one of those crazy college kids that were trying to avoid homework that were on Facebook in 2004 or 2005. I think it was January 2005 I came on Facebook. A random story. Anyways, so when lives and all that stuff and video, that whole thing came out, especially during the pandemic. Okay, yeah, I did some live stories. I told high school stories, and I got pretty comfortable just telling stories on camera to my friends. However, when it came to doing a live, putting my podcast on video, I just didn't want to do it. I joked at the beginning of this thing by saying I have a face for radio. It's because I don't really like to show my face. I don't really like to be there front and center, even at the business, right? I was in a family business. I guess you'd say I was a third in charge, and I hated being the face of anything. I never wanted to be the face of it. And even when we went to go win awards and all sorts of things, I wanted the supervisor to go up there to accept the award, and it made my pops really mad. How are you going to set the supervisor when you're there as the manager? You needed to go up there. It's just, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go up there. And he couldn't comprehend that. And being an introvert, he is the king of extroverts. So trying to convey that to someone is pretty ridiculous. But anyways, going back to the whole point here. They said to come on live, and I was just like, whatever. Just as a challenge to myself, I just want to go say hi to them. I listen to their content. I rock with their content. I like what they do. And they're dope people. So I was like, why not? Just go say hi to them, and it'll be a challenge to myself just to prove that I could do it. And guess what? I ended up getting bit by the bug. Actually had a really fun time with them. So that afternoon or that evening, I was speaking to my mother, who's a real estate agent, and so happens I was like, hey, Mom, go live and whatever. It'll help you to get business on Facebook. Now, that's sort of ironic. I'm telling my mother to go live. It's going to help you out, right? When I needed encouragement 24 hours earlier to come live. But anywho, needless to say, my mother decides to go live. She has a much bigger personality than I do. She is, she's built for live. She's built for cameras and telling stories and such. And it took hours and hours of preparations and practice and all sorts of different things. And she finally went live, did her video and everything. And right away, her head broke her and all sorts of people started to message her. And it was crazy. She was live for 1 minute and 37 seconds. 1 minute and 37 seconds. And she cut it off after that. Since her makeup was already done, the lighting was set up and everything, I was like, Mom, just record some videos, just tell some stories, and it's not going to be live, and you can post it up afterwards. So not being live, she was much more relaxed and told some great stories, hilarious stories. And I cut them up for her, sent them to her. I was just like, just post them one each day before the next live, and it'll prepare people to tune into your live. Of course, she didn't do it. Why? Because insecurity is not one to post the things. And I thought they were great videos. She did some great stories. As I said, my mother is 100 times more built for live than I am. She has a much bigger personality. So is my pops, right? My pops, he should have his own TV show because both my parents are so animated and so dramatic. It's ridiculous. I have no idea. I think like God used all of the animation and drama and poured it into them, and like there was nothing left over for me because I am like the most mellow person. I love and I fight at this temperature, like at this at this level, at this thing. So when I'm actually on the podcast, I turn it up just for the fact that it's like, hey, welcome to the NFT Business Show, and I just wanted to speak about today. We have so and so as a guest, whatever it might be. I have to turn it up because like my natural thing is honestly. I played football. I was a linebacker and I used to call the plays. And that was like the only time you could get me to raise my voice is because I'm calling out to the rest of the defense, rip, 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 Liz, 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 and so forth. Other than that, you'd never hear me. I would go through practice. I would go through the entire training camp or whatever. Even pregame when the whole team was there barking and jumping in the circles, I was at the back, right? The one time they pushed me in the middle when I was in high school, I busted up my elbow. I still have a scar from it. I had to get taped up before the first play and everything, and it just like cemented it into me. But it's like, look, don't get into all that. Anywho, point being, I don't really care to be on anything, be the face of anything. I like to be the guy behind the scenes, pulling the strings and just seeing the vision through, come up with a big idea, assembling the team, if you will, and then getting it going. And how did I get on that? Oh, yeah, live video. So I ended up on this thing, had no intentions of going more than about 10 minutes. But, now that I'm scrolling through the feed and I'm looking at all this stuff, I am still going. So here we go. Wearable Wallet Connect 2.0. So here's the thing, too. All right. Earlier I spoke up and I was saying that I was supposed to go live on Schiller. And that is a new app that's pretty dope. I won't lie. Built for Web3 streaming, whatever. And I did a couple episodes where I live streamed it on Schiller, and I recorded it, used it for the podcast. Now, they're doing the upgrade for the Wallet Connect version 2, and that's why I wasn't able to log into it today, because the cool thing with Schiller is you can either log in using a phone number or using a wallet. So if you have a particular wallet that you're going to be selling NFTs from, selling things from, on Schiller, it's pretty dope. You can connect all that stuff up. You can share NFTs. If you have a Shopify store, if you have anything that you're selling, one of the co-founders of it is Snoop Dogg, of course. And yesterday in the space that they had, around 1 o'clock, they had these spaces where they interview various creators that are going to be on the platform. And I forgot who was yesterday. But she looks like Trinity from the Matrix, at least her profile picture anyway. She's a musician from the UK. But in that space, they put up a page for Snoop's Snooper Market, right? Snooper Market. So on there, you could just go on there and buy his merch, everything. So in the middle of a live stream, there's a whole bunch of ways you can monetize on that. They're throwing you those little shill coins, people, just like how they do it on TikTok. And you can get paid by doing that. Or you can put up your NFTs if you're an artist. If you can put up whatever product that is you're selling, a link to that, your email list, whatever it is. You could throw it all in there, and I think it's just pretty dope that you can just promote everything. Now it's going to be on OBS. So how did I get to that? Wallet Connect 2.0. They're upgrading to that. So the reason why I wasn't able to log in today and do the live stream there and ended up on Twitter, I was like, well, whatever. Already had it in my mind that I was going to do a live stream. So let me send it over to Twitter and YouTube. And yeah, that's how I got there. And so Wallet Connect, that whole upgrade and the transition to that, just I guess it works out for the benefit of other platforms. But with that said, yeah, Rarible just announced that whole thing. Rarible, another one of those, of course. These platforms, Super Rare, Rarible, Web2 interfaces for just some really cool things that are being built in Web3, right? So Alluvium again, but let's just go back to the main feed, right? Let's just see what's going on over here to see what's going on, because pretty much like these are the platforms, and that is what it is. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, just really quick. So this is some of the cool stuff that was what brought Vivi to the claim to fame, if you will. Spider-Man, I saw one with him like twerking and dancing and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, but just having that AR filter with these superheroes in your face. Yeah, Darth Vader. it was cool, right? And that's really how, look, the Incredible Hulk here looks like he just smashed this building, right? That's the cool stuff that really got VB to pop off. And I think there is a lot of promise for AR and VR and such, especially with Apple Vision Pro. Now, when Apple comes into anything, they dominate the whole space. And I find it very interesting that it's called Apple Vision Pro. Usually they come out with a lower end, then they go Pro. But they start off with Pro. So this is like the halo, getting the developers on board to build some cool stuff. And most likely down the line, they're going to come out with a $500, $600, $700 version, or let's say $1,000, because that's where the iPhone is right now. So that's what I see happening in the future, but it is what it is. That's where we're at. But so that's just some really, really cool stuff. I think that's hilarious to me. Let me close that out. See, now we're going away from Vivo, and I just click next, and that's where Twitter will get you in trouble. So last thing, I'll just click back to the main feed, see what I see over there really quick, hope for the best, and if anything, then okay. So let me just refresh. Let's see what pops up NFT wise. And speaking of Yoshi the man right here. So I spoke about the Wax OG as far as Yoshi Drops, the musician. I'm going to go to his page right here. Give him some love. This is Yoshi, you guys. And there we go. This is his thing from Wax, right? So this is Yoshi Bot, Yoshi himself. And of course, he's like a, I don't know if that's like a Gundam or I forget the other one that is a competitor to Gundam. But Yoshi Drops is this really cool platform which is built on Wax, and they have NFT music. I'm just going to click it really quick just so you could see it. Then I'm going to end the live there, and that's where I'm going to end. So, okay, apparently it is not loading. Oh, because this is it's in a different window. That's why. But long story short, I'll close that out. Yeah, yoshidrops.com. You can actually see the whole Wax platform where their music was built and so forth. It is just really cool. Let me just see if, while I'm here, if there's any. I'll go to Yoshi Drops. Yoshi Drops. Go to Yoshi Drops page. And this is it right here. You have your NFTs that are vinyl, digital vinyl. So as you can see right here, this is like a vinyl record. And that's like the whole claim to fame that they had. Just really dope stuff. You have memberships, different tiers and so forth. And it was really cool. That was my first experience to Web3 NFT music. So Yoshi has been doing this for a hot minute now with his partner, MBlue. They were the ones who started this whole platform. And they're just doing some great stuff, which now that I'm on the page, I'm going to have to go check out the website and the stream right here. It has been a minute. I went over an hour, 1 hour and 2 minutes. Had no plans of going this long. But I just want to say, you know, those of you that kind of hopped on, saw this whole thing, spent a little time with me and my Made for Podcast self. This is dope. So, will I be going live regularly? I don't know. I'm not making any promises, but I could say for sure that why not? I mean, I don't know. I'm not committing to any schedule or anything of that nature, but just like how I sign off for the podcast, I just want to say, I want to thank you for listening to this, or I should say, I want to thank you for watching this as we're learning and building Web3 together. So until next time, later.